Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. Today, we are checking out one of the most ridiculous decks I have ever seen. This is 87 card Mardu Superfriends for Modern. Recently took Joshua Jones to a 6th place finish at a SCG Modern IQ. So congrats to Joshua Jones on their finish with the deck. Quick reminder before we break down this insanity. If you enjoy this deck and want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So, of course, the big takeaway is the deck has 72 cards in the main deck. I have heard some people make some arguments for 61 cards. I haven't heard any arguments for 72. That said, there is a lot of stuff in the deck. First off, there are planeswalkers. Start off with 3 Ajani Vengeant, backed up by 2 Sorin Solemn Visitor, so we're up to 5 planeswalkers. And then add in 2 Gideon Jura, so let's see, 5, 6, 7 planeswalkers. And then, of course, 3 Chandra Flamecaller. Brings us up to 10 Planeswalkers. And then Elspeth Sun's Champion, up to 12. Followed by Sorin Grim Nemesis, up to 13. We gotta be running out of Planeswalkers, right? Nope. 2 Karns, 15 Planeswalkers. Oh my god. And, of course, Big Daddy Ugin the Spirit Dragon. 16 Planeswalkers in the deck. So I'm guessing that, if you're going to play 16 Planeswalkers, apparently you just need more room in the deck, and you can't fit it all in 60 cards. So that is the idea of the deck, is play Planeswalkers early and often. There's no specific synergy between them. You're just looking to, starting on turn 4, going to turn 8, slam a Planeswalker every single turn and hope for the best. Apart from Planeswalkers, we have a couple cards that are really important to the function of the deck, especially Coalition Relic. It's a 4 of. You can tap it to add a mana. You can also tap it to put a charge counter on it, and then at the beginning of your next main phase, you will remove the charge counter to add a mana. So you can either add a mana of any color every turn, or you can skip a turn for the charge counter and add 2 mana of any color, or different colors, on the following turn. It seems like a key way of being able to actually resolve 5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana, 8 mana Planeswalkers. Oath of Gideon gives you a little bit of extra loyalty, which is nice. I don't know if it's essential to any of the Planeswalkers. I was looking over the list, and there's not any specific Planeswalker where 1 extra loyalty really does all that much, but it also makes a couple allies, tokens, that you can use for chump blocking. Then we have 8 Wraths, 4 Terminus, 4 Wraths of God. Got to keep the board clean if you're going to be slamming Planeswalkers every turn. Some discard, 3 Inquisition, 3 Thoughtseize, followed by a bit of removal. We have 2 Sudden Shocks and 4 Path to Exile. And then we're to the mana base. A bunch of fetch lands, a bunch of fetchable dual lands, mostly shocks, but also 2 Smoldering Marsh. Not exactly sure why the split of Smoldering Marsh and Blood Crypt. Backed up by 2 creature lands, and then an Urborg and 2 Ghost Quarters, a few basic lands, 3, 2, and 1, and that is the main deck. So tons of Planeswalkers, removal, and lands. And that brings us to the sideboard. We have 2 Leylines of Sanctity and a Defense Grid. These are to protect the Planeswalkers. With Leyline of Sanctity, your Planeswalkers don't get hit by lightning bolts. Defense Grid, in theory, keeps your Planeswalkers from getting countered. Shatterstorm and Stony Silence, pretty typical affinity hate. Then this, I'm assuming, is an aggro package. Timely, makes some blockers, potentially, to defend your Planeswalkers, plus it gains you life. Bonfire, sweeps away a bunch of elves or something like that. And Angel's Grace is pretty much a fog in this deck. A Crumble to Dust is a hedge, I guess, against Tron. The thing is, though, when you are playing 72-card main deck, and you have a 1-of Crumble to Dust, What are the odds that you actually draw your one of Crumble to Dust in the Tron matchup? It doesn't seem very high. That's kind of the problem with these one of sideboard cards in a 72 card list. It's even problematic in a 60 card list, but more so when you're playing 72 cards. And then a bunch of graveyard hate. Grafdigger's Cage, not only for the graveyard, also the Nahiri Emrakul combo, Rest in Peace and Surgical Extraction, specifically for the graveyard. And that is 87 card Mardu Superfriends for Modern. This is a new record, discounting Ultimate Superfriends on against odds. A new record for most Planeswalkers I've ever seen in a deck at 16. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our 87 card Mardu Superfriends instant deck for Modern. And I will talk to you soon.